The Gummy Caddis. Caddis are an important meal source for trout, and trout really key into the free or net spinning caddis larva. First, start with your squirmy worm material. Separate one piece away from the others, and then cut it at the base where it connects to the rubber connector. Go ahead and cut that right next to the base as not to waste any material. Then once it's cut, go ahead and set that aside. While I'm threading my beads onto hooks, I like to lay down a piece of foam, as so the bead doesn't roll away from me. Then I push down on the bend of the hook, and the foam will help push the eye up. And then I go in with plunger style hackle pliers and grab it right behind the eye. I then grab the bead and point the small hole facing up. I then, with a downward motion, I bring the point of the hook into the small hole and out the back. I then bring it over the bend, and when the bead touches the hackle pliers, I release them, leaving the bead successfully threaded onto the hook. The small end should be facing towards the point, and the larger end should be facing away, as the hook will now ride point up. Start your thread right behind the bead, and take a couple wraps back to secure the thread. Then go ahead and cut the tag end to thread off. Then bring your thread back up to behind the bead and start building a little ramp to press the bead next to the eye. Again, the greater part of the bead should be sticking up over the eye, opposite to the hook point. Once the tension starts to get great, kind of position the bead as you prefer. Then wrap back to the bend, stopping where the barb would be, as this is the competition style hook where there is no barb. Then bring your thread right up to about behind the bead. Grab your squirmy material, and with the little butt end sticking out, tie it a little bit back from the bead. Now, start taking open spiral wraps down to where your thread ends by the bend. Make sure not to cut the squirmy material in this process. I like to add a little looser wraps as I wrap down, and then get tighter as I wrap back up to secure the squirmy material. Then bring your thread back up to behind the bead. Start taking wraps, touching wraps of the squirmy material, making sure not to push down super hard, as this will kind of unsegment the wraps and will just splay the material out everywhere. Now, when you're going to attach it to the bead, you should have gotten 4 wraps. Start taking thread wraps loosely, and don't pull down very hard as you may cut the material again. And then once you believe you've got it fairly secure, kind of pull the material back and take more thread wraps over it. And then once it's good and secure, go ahead and pull it a little bit and then cut it. The tension should then bring the squirmy material back into the thread wraps, leaving it secure with a little butt end. Now create about a 2-inch dubbing noodle of black rabbit dub. Don't keep it super sparse, but don't overdub it either. If you have a little dubbing pack, kind of cut a hole in it, and then you can pull it out, and 1 pinch should be enough dubbing. Then create a small bulbous thorax, and then between the thorax and the bead, go ahead and take a 5 or 6 turn whip finish, seat the knot well, and cut it off. No need to cut any hairy fibers, as it will add to the motion. And that's the fly.